Hey everybody, welcome to another video. It's actually a nice warm day today, only -1 degree Celsius, but you can feel the difference. After we've had copious amounts of -12 degrees Celsius days, we've got a -1 and it feels considerably warmer. So you can see I'm not even sitting with gloves and anything, and it actually feels quite nice. So I took a chance. It's winding down to our Christmas vacation, and we have a lot of shows and things happening right now, and I'm heavily involved with getting the sound and lighting and all of that, and decided to take a break just to get out and enjoy the weather. I didn't get a chance to go outside today, and I'm glad I'm out now. The sun is unfortunately setting. It sets really quickly here. It's only just after 1 o'clock and it's already down. By 5 o'clock it's pitch black, so the sun sets really fast here. But I'm glad to get out and get a little bit of sun at least. So please ignore if I'm squinting a little bit. It was difficult to find a spot to kind of sit where I could talk to you guys and just have a moment. Yeah. So something actually just came across because I had a question from a friend of mine, and I've had this question a lot actually, and it's actually about a lot of people nowadays are actually still coming over to Asia to come and teach English and to work overseas. And I've always encouraged people to do so because it's really easy to find work in either of China or Thailand, Korea, Japan, Taiwan. There's just copious amounts of, especially for teaching English jobs. I've been in international school teaching for a couple of years now, and so I've been working on that circuit. But I might talk about that in a separate video. What I actually wanted to focus on today was, or just talk at length, is about making the move over, and what are some of the best countries to go to, and what to expect and things like that. But so when I say we, Ingrid and I, when we first came went to Taiwan, obviously, and spent time there. We went and taught English out there first before getting into the international school circuit. And when I say the international school circuit, there are hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of international schools. And just to clarify, an international school is a school that would utilize some sort of usually Western curriculum. If it's American, it's usually like US Common Core. British schools use the British National Curriculum. There are some international ones like IB, International Baccalaureate. And then obviously the English schools, or the cram schools, or I think in China, I think they call them English Learning Centers. They would utilize curriculum that was either created by, I think, Cambridge. I think it's the Cambridge Examination Board has like an ESL program that they utilize or have or sell. And companies like the company we worked for when we first arrived in Taiwan for Hess, they created their own curriculum, which was actually pretty solid because we use the techniques and things from those curriculums still today in our current teaching method. But moving on to those countries, like, people have always asked, like, oh, when are you going to head back home? And home is in Cape Town in South Africa, and I'm actually not even sure when that's going to be. Like, I really don't know if or when we move back, because there's just so many things that one has to take into consideration when doing so. Because when I became a teacher, the reason why I left South Africa is that it was really tough for me as a teacher just to get by. The salaries were extremely low, and cost of living was just increasing and increasing, and that's happening even more and more. So you actually see a lot of people leaving the teaching profession, and that happens all over the world. That happens, in the United States, you'd be seeing that a lot. In the UK, a lot of the teachers that I work with, we teach with the British national curriculum. So majority of our teachers here are from the UK, and if you talk to them, a lot of them will say they were disillusioned working in the UK. The cost of living's become so high, they couldn't afford it, and so they've tried to seek their fortune elsewhere and moved over to Asia. And it's a wise move for a lot of people, because that's actually what's going to be happening, because the cost of healthcare, the cost of food is just rising and rising and rising, and there are a lot of opportunities out there for people. So I'm trying to encourage more and more people to take that leap. If to go out and venture out in the world and try try different things. Like, you don't have to go to Asia. A lot of people go to South America. As I said, there are tons and tons of schools all over the place. In terms of Asia, from experience and from talking to other friends of what are the best places to go, a lot of the time, if you want to save money, China is a good place to go, Taiwan's a good place to go, Korea is very good. Japan, unfortunately, the cost of living is extremely high. It's one of the most expensive places to live in the world. And your salary sort of does match that, but I've heard from people that have lived there or currently live there, saving is a bit of an issue. I'm getting washed out by the sun. Then Thailand is another popular one. Thailand is the cost of living is extremely low, but the salaries you get are extremely low as well. So you'd have to be very smart about the way you spend your money in order to save money. But a lot of the time, it's very possible when you're searching for jobs. I would suggest try to find work where housing and or your accommodation is all included. You don't actually have to pay out of pocket for your living expenses and things like that. So, and luckily we have that. Our school pays for our housing, and we get to choose our housing, which is great. But they cover the cost, the rental cost for our housing. And then we get our salary on top of that, and so we are able to save money to secure our futures financially. I was on YouTube just the other day. Actually, it was last night, in fact. It actually prompted me to talk about this because I've when it comes to finances, it worries me sometimes. I'm always concerned about saving money and what the future holds, especially now having Kara, because the future is very uncertain for her. We're not sure where the financial landscape is going to go. We're not sure where the environment's going to go, and politically we're not sure what the world's going to be like. And so there's a lot of unknowns, and one needs to be prepared for those unknowns. So making this move and staying out here makes sense in a way, but sorry, I'm digressing already from my original topic. I was talking about being on YouTube, didn't I? So on YouTube, I started one video came up, and I think it was from a year, and it's about the student debt crisis, student loan debt, which is still a major factor in the United States, and I think it happens all over the world, but I think it's been mainly publicized in the United States because they've sort of the high cost of higher education and things like that, and then talking about how it's the shrinking middle class. I think that was the other thing that also came up, how in the middle class it's not, people aren't able to buy houses anymore. They can't afford healthcare, things like that, where a couple of years back it was very easy for those people. That was part of the American dream, as as it was always tipped to be. That's a nice warm coffee. And sorry, that was one of the things, and I mean, I'm considered to be part of the middle class, and so that kind of worries me about like what's going to happen. And so watching these videos and going on and reaching down in these rabbit holes of YouTube videos that I kept watching, I realized that Ingrid and I made the right move coming over to Asia, because we weren't tied down by anything. Because I'm sure by this point in time in our lives we would still be having to buy cars, pay for the insurances, buy a house, and so on and so forth, which is obviously a very costly affair, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper in debt. And I worry for a lot of people when they go to university and they accrue all of this student loan debt, which they'll be paying off for 20 years, but then they need to get back into the get into the workforce, get a car, pay for their transportation, living expenses, and it's just money just being churned out and churned out and churned out, or being spent rather to accommodate one's living style. So it's really tough, and it makes me wonder why, when we were at school, or when I was in high school, we were never really given any sort of like financial training. We weren't given any even to this point, even now in my life, You know, I'm in my mid-30s, and you know, I'm still not. I really don't know how the financial sector works. I'm not that savvy when it comes to saving money. I've never in my entire life owned a credit card. You know, I've never had credit. Luckily, you know, South Africa doesn't work on credit scores, so I didn't need to. I've never had a cell phone contract. I've never bought a brand new car. You know, I've never done these types of things. You know, first of all, I'm not sure how to do it, and also I'm not sure if I even wanted to do it, which is one of the issues that I had, because you know, I like to live within my means, so I try to keep things very simple that way. But yeah, but coming now, living here in Asia and having that freedom to sort of move around, because we're not really tied down here. You know, we literally, I won't say literally live out of a suitcase, but you know, proverbially we live out of a suitcase. So you know, once the contracts are up, we live, you know, we work contract to contract. So once those contracts are up, we can move around and go places. So and we do sort of like that freedom, you know, to do so. So as I said, I am sort of like encouraging people to try this. You know, if you are in that situation where you find yourself, especially teachers, I'm going to encourage teachers here right now, because I have to look out for, you know, people in the teaching profession here, is that when, you know, if you're finding yourself in a situation, and this is happening, we've seen teacher strikes in the United States just a couple of months back, you know, take that leap and come over, you know, move to another country, get onto these job fair websites and see if you can find opportunities somewhere to teach abroad. There's a lot of jobs available, a lot of things out there, especially around about this time of year, where recruitment agencies are starting to really fill up those slots for those jobs. But yeah, that was just sort of like my own sort of viewpoint, and again, to go back, you know, for people that are in debt, it's a good way to pay off one's debt, and also to pay off one's further education. You know, I would advise, if somebody is looking to further their education, maybe do a graduate degree, a postgraduate degree, or something along those lines. You know, come look for a university over here in Asia. There's a lot of scholarships for Western students. Also, if you can save some money and put it towards your studies, study part-time, you know, study while you work, all of those types of things are quite beneficial in trying to not get oneself into the debt hole, I guess, if that's the term. That's not an official financial term, but I'm going to coin that right now. But yeah, it's just something that I was thinking about. I thought I'd just mention it while I took some time basking in the glorious sun today. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed this. I kind of like talking about things that are on my mind to all of you. So if you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments, and we can continue the conversation and see if you guys have any other opinions about it. And then I'd like to make a few more videos about life here in Beijing. Just as I said, we've been really busy with our Christmas shows and things, and haven't really had a chance to even go out on the weekends and do things. It's all been, you know, pretty hectic and busy. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. Chat to you guys soon. All right, see you guys. Bye.